Welcome back to the Arse All Podcast and YouTube channel. And in today's episode, it's all going to be about my top 6 predictions for the Premier League. I'm going to burp, but I thought it'd be a bit fun. You know, I was going to do a whole league table prediction, but I was looking at the video and I was like, nah, I'm bored watching it. Top 6, you can't get more exciting than that in England. And you know what? Might be some controversial picks to some. Might be some that you agree with, some where you won't even bother watching afterwards. But hey, I'm an Arsenal fan, as you can tell. So there might be some things in there I'm going to say that's predictable, but also some things I genuinely believe is going to happen this season. Sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, get the shortbreads out, and let's dive right in to my top 6 predictions of the Premier League 2023-2024. Now, starting off at number 6, and this is one of the teams that sort of like grew tremendously last season. Not in terms of the players they brought in. Yes, they brought in a lot of great talent, but the play that they played, the system that they played, everyone playing their position, and also the position that they finished. They finished 4th. Newcastle, the Geordies, they did amazing last season. Now, they've got Champions League this season. And personally, I know they've brought in quite a few players already. Tonali, the standout for me. But I just think the Champions League is a big distraction for them when it comes to the league. I mean, that can work in your favour. The more you're in the Champions League in terms of group stages, getting out of them, potentially, quarterfinals, it could attract more players the next season, even if, yes, they might finish at a lower point in the league compared to last season, but it's like that statement piece where this is what we could do. Now, number 6, I think it's about right for them because of the increased matches from last season. They're going to be playing in Europe. They didn't have that last season. And I genuinely think they need to strengthen that bit more. They've got a great team, great manager, great system that they play, defensively robust. Like, they were very hard to break down last season for a lot of teams. Even Arsenal as well. At home, we played them 0-0. Couldn't get through them. But we carved them up at, St. James Park. Let's have it right. But yeah, at number 6, it is going to be, in my opinion, Newcastle United. And let's go to number 5. Now, this one is going to ruffle a few feathers, or whatever you call it, potato. But I just think they're lacking a few players to get them across the line in a lot of different matches against the big lot. Now, yes, we did play them in pre-season. We got whacked 2-0 and lost the penalty shootout because it was an exhibition match. But I still think they're lacking that striker. Could they get that Højlund guy? Could he prove himself even if they get him? Because, it's never a guarantee when you get a foreign player with a high reputation coming in. But then it could work. Look at Haaland, it could work. So they need to strengthen a bit more. They're cooking up. Don't get me wrong. They got Rashford back to his best. They got Mason Mount. They got Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, They've got Andre Onana now. Like, Onana, what's his name? Yeah. Haven't seen him play yet, but we all know what he's capable of. Press resistant, plays out from the back. He's a beast in front of the sticks. So they're getting a few players. But I just think they're lacking that striker. They're lacking that player on a killer pass. Mount's never been the guy. He's more of a box to box. He can take the ball, drive with it down the M25 and still keep going. But he's never had that killer pass in him, in my opinion, from what I've seen. So they might need 2 or 3 players to be able to sort of like take it a step further. So that's why I'm putting them 5th. Now, as much as I hate United fans, I love the team. I love their history, everything else. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't stand the fans, but the team, it's sort of like, Goku and Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. Like, one needs to have the other to be able to step up. And I feel like Arsenal's always had them to elevate themselves. So that's why I can't hate on the team too much. Yes, it's the rivalry, but it's more the fans I can't stand. Even though a lot of my best mates are United fans, which is a shame. It's a shame. But look, number 5, it is Manchester United. Number 4, solely because they've got a manager that took Spurs to a Champions League final. Now, whatever manager does that has my respect. Yeah. Like, I can't say enough about this guy, Maurizio Pochettino. Didn't do it with the likes of PSG too much. They didn't have him for too long because of it. And yes, he did a lot at Tottenham. Did get done dirty because they wanted to bring in Mourinho. Let's have it right. Never really got the backing from the boards, which sort of left him a bit sour. And I can't blame him because he's an amazing manager. And when you back a manager of that caliber with players, who knows what they could have done. But I'm glad. But look, Chelsea have done amazing to get him in. They're looking like they're sort of rebuilding a lot. They're getting rid of a lot of players. Aubameyang to Marseille. All these players going Saudi, Kante, Koulibaly. Getting rid of Havertz to Arsenal. All these players, looks like Gallagher's going now. And they're bringing in players like Nkunku, that elite level of like creativeness and like goals. That's what they lacked, a lot of goals. They didn't score near enough goals that they used to. And I think they're going to do big bits, man. If they're getting a couple more players, who knows where they're going to finish. But personally, I think they'll just get top four. Personally, just because they've got a manager that knows what he wants to do. He's making them work from what I've heard from behind the scenes. He's making them work a lot more than they used to. And it looks like he's making it known, if you don't want to be here, you're not going to be here. And that's that. And that's what you need. So I think Chelsea at number 4, top 4, sits about right to me. I guess number 3 now. And this is another team that's sort of on the rebuild and sort of, if you will, rebranding, if that kind of makes sense. They've got like a whole new midfield, it looks like. And it looks like they're still shipping out more players to make room. They got rid of the likes of Firmino, you got Milner going. Hendo looks like he's on his way out to Saudi. Gerrard's his mate, offering him silly money, so it would be rude not to. You've got Ox that left as well, I believe. All these players that sort of was of the old regime, if you want to say it like that, have gone. A lot of aging players have moved on and are moving on. And they've got the likes of McAllister, World Cup winner. Sabitzer looks like an amazing player at that price tag as well. He's got a lot to prove. But then you got like Salah could be back to his best. He sort of picked up the end of last season. Letting Mane go, I feel like they're still recovering from that. But they got Gakpo, Luis Diaz, he's going to be coming back. Big injury last season. Jota as well. All these players that are capable of danger, like killers. You know what I mean? Trent playing in that inverted right back role now. Them sort of adopting that new system made them a whole different team towards the end of last season, because they transformed it, almost got top 4. I think they missed out by a few points. Like, it wasn't that much in it due to the fact that they changed up the system and adapted. And Trent, let's have it right, one of the best players on the ball in terms of a defender going forward. So that's what I think at number 3 is going to be Liverpool. I don't think they're there yet in terms of challenging again, but I think they're going to do enough, and they've got enough players now in terms of the right players to go forward and progress this season compared to last season. Now, here's where a lot of people are going to be switching off. And I don't blame you. It is a bit biased, but it's also what I feel in my gut because of what I've seen, who's come in, and the sort of statement we're making in terms of bringing in these players. And number 2 is Manchester City. I know. Just listen, I don't care, bro. I don't care. I really don't. Because, yes, they're bringing in players. Don't get me wrong. Guardiola, Kovacic. Who else they're bringing in? I think they brought in someone else. But it's like the sort of players they're bringing in, sensational. Not saying nothing, yeah? But when you're letting go a Gundogan, that he was sort of the heartbeat of the team. Whenever a KDB was out of the team, not doing great, rested, he's popping up. He's doing it all. One of the best players, most underrated players in my opinion in that team over the few years with Pep. And I think letting him go, big mistake. It looks like Walker might go, Kyle Walker. He might be going to Bayern. That'll be interesting if that happens. I don't see it happening too much, but it would make sense for him, especially if Kane does go. But, you know, I just think they can't replace that Gundogan figure in there. And yes, Kovacic, very similar build, very similar player, world class still. Like, I remember he ripped Turkey a new one, like when he played us, Croatia, in the Euro qualifiers. But yeah, Gundogan for me, I would have taken him all day. Him going to Barcelona was a bit of a come on, like we could have got him. We could have snapped him up. I just think City are going to be lacking that hunger from last season. And I think Arsenal personally are going to be more hungry than last season. And they're going to be like, we just missed out. Why can't we go for it this season? With the new additions, going to come back more hungry. That pain, that fuel, that anger that Arteta was speaking about in his press conferences for the pre-season matches. It's evident, like it's a real thing. And City winning the treble last season, it's not one of those things where, you win it and you're more hungry on next year. No, it's not like that. I think the main thing for them was the Champions League. They got it. And it could be down to their detriment, you know, like it could be working against them in terms of the hunger, the desire. Players are getting older now. You know, you got KDB pushing, still world class, don't get me wrong. They've got Haaland. When a team's got Haaland, anything can happen. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying anything like that. Mahrez going as well. They let him go. Come on, man. Mahrez, like, it's madness. It's a madness. When you can let a player like that go, and in Pep's eyes, he might still bring in players, but in his eyes, you can deal with it. That's how you know you got squad depth, you know? It's crazy. They could play Alvarez there as well, you know? All these players, Foden, Grealish, it's crazy. But I think they're going to lack that hunger, and that's why I think they'll be second. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Arsenal coming in first, of course. I'm saying that, yes, because I'm an Arsenal fan, but the intent, the attitude of the players, the manager, it looks like they're really going for it. It looks like, to me, that the pain from last season, it's not going to happen again. That's why they got in a £105 million midfielder, Declan Rice. That's why they got a very versatile defender in Timber. They right back, centre back, defensive mid. And that's why they got a £65 million Havertz that we're not even talking about because of the price tag of Declan Rice. Now, these three players are key for me. And it looks like we're keeping Thomas Partey, which if we do, we are going to win it. If we keep hold of Partey and these three players integrated in the right way, we're going to win it. Saliba's going to be fit, raring to go. He looks sharp in pre-season. You know, got Jesus, Saka, Martinelli. That front three, probably top 2 or 3 in the league. And I'd say this new midfield looks scary. Martin Odegaard, Havertz, Smith Rowe's in there as well. Declan Rice, Partey, you know, Jorginho, I'd put him in there. One of the best on the ball in the league. Defensively, agility-wise, you know, athleticism's not there, but on the ball, sensational. You know, all these players, and I feel like I'm missing a few players in there, but it is scary times. It is scary times. And if we keep all these players fit, and if we rotate the right way, I think we're definitely going to win it. You know, I could be eating my words at the end of the season, but I'm willing to take that risk, and I'm happy to put something on it. I don't bet. I'm not a betting man. That's not what I do. But I'm willing to take the heat, man. If it doesn't happen, I'll take it. So I think Arsenal win the league, and that's my top 6. We'll go over it again. At number 6, Newcastle United. At number 5, Manchester United. Number 4, Chelsea. Number 3, Liverpool. Number 2, Man City. And Arsenal, my beloved Arsenal, at number 1. But let me know down below what you think the top 6 will be, and what your team is, and where you think they're going to be finishing next season. Also, not even in the league as well. Let me know if they're going to win any sort of domestic cups, Champions League, whatever it is, FA Cup, you know, Carabao, whatever the weather, Trevor. Let me know down below, and I will pin the best comments. Am I talking absolute waffle, or do you agree with me? Let me know all of that down below. And that is all from the Arsenal podcast and YouTube channel. Until the next episode, take care.